Who they think they better than? Ain't no comparison to the so-called black or African American. You can drop the African, keep the American. When we say Aborigine and make their world in, I'm going in the same dirt my ancestors buried in. I come from a god and a goddess, so what that make me? Not even Basquiat can trace me. Not even Van Gogh can paint me. The MC in me is the God MC, equals the God in me. I'm focused in, let my mind be free. You too blind to see. The Jews I give is real, it's been real. These ain't shots, they missiles. All you gonna hear is the whistle. Lyrically, this an execution. My verses start revolutions for my people seeking restitution. Since the beginning, fuck evolution. Or maybe my reality is all a dream. I put it together like I was sewing seams. So it seems this is that audio dopamine. Go against the regime, we put you where nobody can hear you scream. And sing you to meet your Elohim. My nigga, this is savage mode. It's something that you can't decode. It started with a spark and I'ma let it explode. I was given the cheat codes that'll let me dump and reload and go through them waves like a fucking torpedo. You dealt the cards of life, I just cut them diamonds with the ace of spades. Y'all scatter like roaches when they facing raid, or vampires when they facing blade. I'm trying to get next to Shireen like I'm getting played. You still stuck as a mental slave. You still stuck in that mental cage. While I'm making easy money, pipping hoes in style. This my coming to age. Crowd warm when I'm coming on stage. And when I'm done, they gonna be cheering my name. Drake Cobbs, and nah, I ain't quit my day job. I spit bars. I really rap on my day off. That's real shit. Just give you some tools you can build with. Aim high even if you still miss. Just keep going. It's a climb to the top. And I'ma keep flowing. Down Lake Shore, I'm Chicagoan. Yeah. You niggas is playing checkers, we playing chess. And nigga, this is checkmate. Dre be the big dog and you just a little bait. You out of Africa and we ain't got the same traits. I'm a God being and we ain't got the same fate. My granny died February 18th and I was born on the same date. The chosen one, the ancestors' chosen son. They gave me the golden gun. One shot, that's a hole in one. From the pyramid of the sun, the poverty point. I don't think you niggas is getting the point. We still here. Who said they made the Aboriginals disappear? Your information's lagging in the rear. All you do is teach fear. We copper-colored with woolly hair. Am I speaking clear? So fuck the nonsense. When I rap, I touch your consciousness. From within is where you get your self-confidence. Let's bring it back to dominance. Ain't no confining us. Gonna bring that wild Indian out of us. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. We still here.
Yep. Wild Indian, yeah.
Hey, V, line them up.
I'm a wild Indian, you know I go crazy. Ain't really Indian, that boy fugazi. I just keep it player, you can never play me. You got an ass so fat, girl, let's make a baby. And another one. Then I'm back to the trap, I'm trying to double song. She a bad woke chick and I love her tongue. We some jurisdiction boys, we some 101s. Look, don't compare me to no Martin dog, I'm like Malcolm X. Job about our freedom, we'll leave a crack a stretch. Round of applause, boy, you know we clapping text. Chucky dog, child play, yeah, nigga, that's what's next. Open up the cans just like Arizona. Pull up masked up like we got the Rona. We set up jurisdictions when we buy the corner. How you claiming that's your hood and you not the owner? Be the B, I just pulled up in the need for speed. Free the land, tell the colonizers that they need to leave. Wild Indian up in my veins, you know how we bleed. You ain't gotta lie about who we is, dog, just keep it G. We at war, we can't keep the peace. Since we at war, gotta keep the peace. Whack a cone, then I meditate. Should I need to breathe? Keep an Olmec head when we slide, dog, cause we the sheep.
Like my niggas said, bitch, we the sheep. I can't keep the peace. If it pop off, then I want a piece. I'm just on release. I'm in go mode, motherfucker thief. In these streets like EBT, when we at war, make peace with me. I don't give a damn, understand. Fuck who stole this land, white or black or tan. Understand, it's fuck who stole this land. Might have seen me get little buddy these hands. He wasn't no apple man. Now these dudes is Sambo man. They full of shit like my ammo can. What they call an N-word out the wrong mouth as an ambulance. Wild Indian, get it in advance, or you can post date it. Ask around, I'm the most hated. Straight sacred, they stole acreage. Go ape shit, show ain't shit. It won't be televised, I don't tape shit.
Be the beat, I just pulled up in the need for speed. Free the land, tell the colonizers that they need to leave. Wild Indian up in my veins, you know how we bleed. You ain't gotta lie about who we is, dog, just keep it G. We at war, we can't keep the peace. Since we at war, gotta keep the peace. Whack a cone, then I meditate. Should I need to breathe? Keep an Olmec head when we slide, dog, cause we the sheep.
We got guns like Navy SEALs. Real niggas came with the kill. In the street with their word, trying to fuck hoes and pay some bills. Real shit when it's beat, we loading up the machine guns. Wait till you leave the club, turn the parking lot into Vietnam. Nigga pointing them pistols. Your mama and them gon' miss you. Put your ass in a coffin and a t-shirt and your picture. Don't give a fuck who you say you was. Lay your ass in a pool of blood. Now you wanna talk it out with your homeboys, you a super tough. Ain't with that loud talking, number loud in my way sack. Pistol in your mouth, show me where them keys at. Acting up for ratchet hoes, keep on showing out. Gon' fuck around and wind up like my Chevy, brains blowed out. I got plenty goons and nigga, I'ma ride with 'em. I got plenty guns and nigga, I'ma ride with 'em. Fuck you and whoever that's riding with you. Ride your ass in a hearse and they can ride with you. I got plenty goons and nigga, I'ma ride with 'em. I got plenty guns and nigga, I'ma ride with 'em. Fuck you and whoever that's riding with you. Ride your ass in a hearse and they can ride with you.
Know some niggas pulling out choppers for some niggas singing like operas. All my propositions be toppers on my block. And I ain't never been no knocker, bitch. I'm busting down them doors. How you planning you gonna be writing for me when you wasn't around for yours? Keep these bitches out of whiff, these suckers out of length. My distance ain't never remotely close, leave impressions that'll dent. Loyalty we live by, respect is what we die for. They reflections never mirror real shit. They see pride more, riding through with juicy, listening to Boosie, ski nasty Gucci, the gunplay, the OZs, pics and commissary, cause we real like that. Spilling for them pigs will get you killed like that.
With Fuelman, you can stay pumped about fuel savings. Save 8 cents per gallon at our vast network of fuel stations nationwide. We also help you stay focused on what
Your smile.
Let the melanin show, such a beautiful glow. I wanna put my Dre 3000 in your love below. I usually switch them up every season or so. Pretty brown round, I like it when you come around. You know how I get down. We can skip town, take you to exotic beaches. Let the sun hit you and look at your exotic features. My Empress love thing, we go together like yin and yang. Ride or die, we got our own gang. Me and you loving this shit. She knows she my number one pick. She ride stick and don't need a learner's permit. We in our zone when the runs get lit. Cause I know you feeling me. You like how my spirit's free and how we build with the same energy. Drake Cobbs and you know I keep it low key. One hit of this pipe and turn into a dope beat. It's 10 toes down and you around. You know how we get down. Yeah.
Your smile.
Be my Mississippi and just flow with me. I give you parts you can only see. I wish the younger me was in tune with the older me. We'll be right where we supposed to be. I just want to embrace you. Whole world try and trace you. American goddess, your image all over the planet. The definition of organic. Your body is a work of art like Chichen Itza. Miss Copper Color, it's nice to meet you. She says she Cherokee, wear a feather in her hair. And I'm right there. It's quite clear Me and you together with Spark Fest. It's you and ITY in the universe intertwined, causing eclipse like when the sun and the moon align. Now that's power divine that can light up the whole skyline and touch your kiss. It gets me every time. Empress, you stay on my mind. You know you one of a kind because when I shine, you shine. It's nothing like the American Indian Empress. You're one of a kind.
Yes,
Oh my God, y'all. I'm sitting over here talking on mute. Good morning. Grand rising to all the Aboriginal Indigenous Indians. I hope you guys are doing well this morning. I was just coming on to let you guys know that I will be up in a few minutes. I hope you all are excited for today because I'm going to delve into a deep chapter in Black American history when we're talking about the Tuskegee Experiment. And as we know, hundreds and hundreds of Black men with syphilis were mistreated. Some of them misdiagnosed, and a lot of them weren't being properly treated for the disease. Instead, it was this thing where the government was trying to see how the disease would turn around and take effect. So I think it's really sad that this kind of thing happened. And I'm going to read a couple of pieces on it. I'm also going to show a couple of documentaries, excuse me, family, of course. I'm going to show a few documentaries on it as well so that we can get an understanding of, you know, like the jab obviously wasn't the first time in American history where people where stuff was getting done and people didn't know the full scope around what was happening. I think that's what I'm trying to say. So shout out to everybody. I'm going to remove myself from the screen. I'm going to play my intro, and then by then I should already have everything up that I want to have up. But I hope you're having a great morning. I really do. Like, I'm in here off my real chill stuff today, y'all, because it's very early, and I just wanted to come on and let y'all see my face and also just chill with y'all. I love the mornings. Like, the morning is the best time of the day for me sometimes because it's a time where I can really reflect on myself, reflect on my thoughts. Obviously, it's Monday. We got Christmas coming up, things like that. So, you know, it's a lot to reflect on. It's a lot to be thankful and grateful for. And I hope you all feel the same way. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a day at a time. It's no rush in this thing called life. We just trying to make shit shake. So just shout out to all the Aboriginal Indigenous Indians. I'm so happy to have y'all here this morning. Please like, share, subscribe, share it out to everybody so that they can come on in. I'm not going to hold y'all long because I know our normal morning crew will probably be on their way soon. So let me just play my introduction and we can take off. Oh, there it is.
Welcome to the Cherise the Realist Show.
All right. Let me see what it's giving. Yes, Grand Rising. It's giving. Okay. It's giving on the natural tip. Period. So anyway, let's get this thing rolling. I'm not gonna hold y'all long, like I said, family. It's so many things that I had on this topic. So just bear with me because there is one more. I just want to make sure I got all my PDFs up and all the things that. Let me make sure. Boom. 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 Okay. Got all three up. Now, where is. All right. So let's read a little bit first about syphilis, about the HDNA that they found that put syphilis in America first. I'm trying to find that other one because I actually saw it on one of the Pan Africans posts, and I thought it was interesting actually that he would post that as somewhat of a dig to say that, oh, well, syphilis originated in America, so y'all wanting to, what in the hell? Every morning these little girls is calling. This little girl still in the bed asleep. Anyway, I think the idea that, oh, because syphilis might have originated in America, y'all want to be from America whole time, niggas, like to me, that's what it was giving. It was giving more so he was trying to make it seem like originating from America is a bad thing because of them finding evidence or finding a skull that had lesions in it. Child. All right, y'all. So give me 1 second because let me share this one first and then we can move right along. So that way, I'm getting on with the stream. Okay, share this tab instead. Okay. So I'm going to start. I wanted to hold up, y'all, because I got one more that I just want to make sure is up because I know I sent it to myself. Okay. Is this it? The CDC one. Okay, I got that. Give me 1 second, y'all. 2 more seconds. I just want to make sure I pull up all the information that I have on this. And then I'll pull up the videos to support some of these articles. And in some cases, other articles. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Bear with me, y'all. I had it all together. Let's just say that. All right. Okay. Okay, open this one. All right. And then there's one more I want to open. So all I got to do is just shift through tabs instead of going back in my email and opening everything up again. All right, let's start here. So this particular situation is that they found it in Europe. But see, now the article I'm going to show is saying that they found it in America. You see how they change things up? My bad, y'all. I thought it was on the screen. Look at me. Hold up. Let me start it over. Let me start it over. Okay. Now, let's go here. All right. So briefly, I'm just going to read a little bit. I want to read another one too. I like the History's channel synopsis. I mean, the history.com. Uh, I like their argument a little bit better. I mean, their article, excuse me. Hold up. But there is a couple of videos I want to show too. But first, I want to start with the origin of this, obviously, and what's really going on. So did I have this one? Is that the one? No, that's the CNN one. All right, where is it? There it is. So this is the particular article that the young man shared right here. Syphilis originated in the Americas, ancient DNA shows, but European colonialism spread it widely. Paleogenomics has finally solved a question that has puzzled researchers for decades. Where did syphilis come from? The outbreak of a mysterious disease ravaged Europe in the late 15th century, shortly after Christopher Columbus and his crew returned from the Americas. Experts have debated for centuries where this malady, now known as syphilis, originated. Now, new research into ancient genomes has finally provided an answer. It turns out syphilis came from the Americas, not Europe. The data clearly support a root in the Americas for syphilis and its known relatives. Study co-author Kirsten Boss, an archaeologist at the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology in Leipzig, Germany, said in a statement, their introduction to Europe starting in the late 15th century is most consistent with the data. Can y'all see the article? Okay. The researchers analyzed human skeletons from numerous archaeological sites in the Americas for evidence of syphilis and related diseases. They revealed findings in the study published in December 18 in the journal Nature. Excuse me, y'all. Bacteria in the genus Treponema cause the non-venereal disease Penta, Bajel, and Jaws, in addition to venereal syphilis, and these are collectively known as treponemal diseases. All of these diseases can cause the destruction and remodeling of bone during a person's life. So archaeologists have long investigated pre-Columbian skeletons in the Americas for clues to the origin of syphilis. But clear genetic evidence of syphilis has been more difficult to find because of the poor preservation of treponemal DNA over the centuries. We've known for some time that syphilis-like infections occurred in the Americas for millennia, but from the lesions alone, it's impossible to fully characterize the disease. In the new study, the researchers took samples from the teeth and bones of dozens of skeletons from the Americas that show signs of treponemal infection. Then, thanks to advances in genomic technology, they were able to isolate treponema pallidum genomes from the skeletons of 5 people who died in what are now Mexico, Peru, Argentina, and Chile before 1492. Based on their genomic analysis, the researchers found that T. pallidum, the bacterium that causes syphilis and related diseases, originated in the Americas during the Middle Holocene epoch as far back as 9,000 years ago, and they're split off into the subspecies that causes various treponemal diseases. But modern syphilis may have cropped up just before the arrival of Columbus. The scientists wrote in the study and rapidly expanded in the colonial period, corresponding with the rise in transatlantic human trafficking. While indigenous American groups harbored early forms of these diseases, Europeans were instrumental in spreading them around the world, Ball said in a statement. To me, this reading didn't prove anything. They don't even really know still. Okay. Do I have the live? Okay. So let's go here. So about the untreated syphilis study at Tuskegee. So as you know, ultimately, like when I saw that article, this made me kind of want to go into the Tuskegee experiment, of course, in Tuskegee, Alabama. And obviously it just started making my head ding, and my tent had started tingling around a lot of things that be going on. And it's like, wow, I haven't really seen anybody cover this in a while. So I just kind of wanted to go back and just cover it. And I'm gonna show a couple of videos on it, like I said, but I just want to try to understand why they're saying now that because they found these particular skeletons that apparently they're supposed to predate Columbus and predate Columbus' arrival. Apparently there's lesions in them that indicate syphilis, but we don't even know if they caught that from like a European and they died. Like, what? That doesn't mean it originated here because you found it in a couple of skull heads. That's weird as hell. Yes, OCO Enos, OCO Juan Truth, OCO Michael Akamak Hers, Most Hated Bronze Flat Power God, Focus Mind, Niji Superior, GBC Firekeeper. So let's keep rocking. I ain't even see this comment. So Grand Rising, y'all. Okay, let's go. So obviously, the purpose of this article is the 40-year untreated syphilis study at Tuskegee ended in 1972 and resulted in drastic changes to standard research practices. So the U.S. Public Health Service untreated syphilis study at Tuskegee was a study conducted between 1932 and 1972. The study was supposed to observe the natural history of untreated syphilis. As part of the study, researchers did not collect informed consent from participants. They also did not offer treatment even after it was easily available. The study ended in 1972 on the recommendation of an ad hoc advisory panel. The panel was convened by the Assistant Secretary for Health and Scientific Affairs following publication of news articles about the study. In 1997, President Clinton issued a formal apology. In his apology, he announced an investment to establish what became the National Center for Bioethics and Research and Healthcare at Tuskegee University. Many records can be found in the archives, the blah, blah, blah. Tuskegee community members were aware of the study, but thought it was a special government healthcare program. According to the Assistant Secretary for Public Health or whatever, it says the Macon County Health Department and Tuskegee Institute were cognizant of the study. No women were included in the study. The study was limited to Black men 25 years of age or older. However, As a result of a lack of treatment, some women contracted syphilis from men who participated in the syphilitic group. Family members and public health officials share memories, reflections, blah, blah, blah. So this is not the video. I don't know if that's the video that I'm going to watch per se, but that's not the one. So I'm just not going to go through all of this. Y'all get the drift. Obviously, there was a lawsuit. They got a court settlement. So obviously some people received money and things like that. So let's just carry on and let's really get into the nooks and crannies of this. So let's start right here. I want to go back to the origins again because I like the origins of shit. You know what I'm saying? I love the origins of things because we got to understand how something happened. I'm sorry, family. Goddamn Big Tari, child. And then soon enough, y'all gonna be on the thing. Big Tari caused my arm to break. Like, cut it out. Y'all can't hear? Y'all can't hear? Can you hear now? Put a one in the chat if you can hear. Why can't y'all hear? I don't know why y'all can't hear. All right, hold up. Can y'all hear that? Can y'all hear me? Let me just stop sharing. All right, y'all, hold up. Because I don't know why y'all can't hear. Y'all should be able to hear. Can y'all hear me talking? That's crazy. All right, hold up for a second. Let me see what's going on. Maybe I just need to restart the show. Not the show, but to restart the share screen. All right, y'all, because I wanted to go into the origins and all that. I don't know why y'all can't. Let's see. Got the sound on. Also share tab audio. What about now? Okay, y'all hear that? Y'all hear this?
Are you ready to go out there and draw your blood, Mr. Sinclair? Are you ready to go out there and draw your blood?
All right.
Anderson Sinclair is one of the few remaining survivors of the Tuskegee study. As many as 100 of the participants are thought to have died of their untreated syphilis.
Dorothy, the hospital is at 847. Dorothy, 847.
Sinclair and the other survivors now receive free health care for the rest of their lives, paid for by the U.S. government. But the experiment in which he took part continues to haunt the American medical establishment.
5 minutes, okay? Got it. Relax your fist.
For 7 years, I went around trying to throw the story over the transom of some newspaper reporter or some television person who would talk about it, who would make some inquiry at least. I talked to law professors. I talked to friends who were reporters. I was unable to get anyone interested until the second time I told a friend who was a reporter over dinner what I knew. And she, by then, knew me well enough to think about it. Are you sure? Did this happen? I mean, how do you know it happened? Do you have any documentation? I said, yes, I've got this much documentation on it. I mean, Xeroxes of the actual reports, where they were published, the dates and everything. She asked to see it, and that was the end of the silence.
In 1932, 400 black men in Alabama were screened out and offered free medical treatment for what they were told was bad blood. In fact, they had syphilis, and the government wanted to see what happens when syphilis goes untreated.
Did they tell you you had syphilis?
Nothing like that. They do that, draw my blood. We'll see you next time. That's it.
That's it. The men had no idea they were being used as guinea pigs in an experiment designed to follow them to their deaths. Immediately after the story broke in 1972, a congressional investigation began. The first decision was to stop the experiment. But no one was ever prosecuted. No doctor was ever reprimanded. And to this day, the U.S. government has refused to condemn the experiment.
I have now strong feelings that more should have been done.
Okay, mind y'all, this documentary came out in 1990. I also read in the article that in 1997, President Bill Clinton issued an apology, as well as opening up an institute in Tuskegee, Alabama, to support bioethics studies and, to make sure that they are properly doing what they're supposed to do. But this is, diabolical. Ding, 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 sister. Hi, Sap.
And that perhaps we should have had an American Nuremberg trial of the conduct of the Tuskegee experiment.
We have no compunction about sending our youth away to war when it's in the national interest. And in terms of syphilis, was a leading cause of infant maternal mortality, leading single cause of admission to mental hospitals, and many other things. So it was in the national interest to get the information so that you could provide the greatest protection for the entire community, black and white.
Last year, over 60,000 babies were born with syphilis. And in the United States alone, more than 1 million syphilis cases were reported. Only a small fraction of these cases ever completed treatment.
The Tuskegee study began with the best intentions. For federal health officials, syphilis was a national emergency.
They went through the South doing blood surveys, and they were just appalled at the number of positives they had. It was an epidemic. I mean, it was much like, well, I hate to use the term AIDS.
You know, it's interesting because, you know, SAP's comment is 100%, correct. And it's like when they tell the story, it's like, oh, you know, they were happily just going around testing Black men for syphilis. Oh, and they're just appalled at the numbers. They're appalled that so many people are positive. Cut the shit.
It's because, but it spread like wildfire, and they were surprised to find how many positives they had.
The surveys were performed by mobile units of the U.S. Public Health Service in the late 1920s and partially financed by a private foundation called the Rosenwald Fund. But the treatment at
So it was funded by the U.S. government and a private entity that they just named. Like, it's interesting, like when they do these studies or when they act like they're doing a study, you're not doing a study. You know exactly what you're doing. You damn right you're studying. Read through the hidden sarcasm, family.
At that time, injections of arsenic and bismuth was unreliable and expensive. After the Depression began in 1930, the Rosenwald Fund could no longer pay for the second part of the project, bringing treatment to the infected rural population. The Public Health Service planned to cancel the project, but Dr. Tolliver Clark, director of the Venereal Disease Division, wanted to salvage something from the work done so far. He designed a short-term study to observe the natural course of untreated syphilis in Black men.
You couldn't get...
That is really some bullshit. Let me rewind that back. See, it's only 5 minutes in. I said I wasn't going to do this throughout this video. I said I wasn't. I be trying not to stop the video, but it's like they be saying things that is really ridiculous.
The Rosenwald Fund. But the treatment at that time, injections of arsenic and bismuth, was unreliable and expensive. After the Depression began in 1930, the Rosenwald Fund could no longer pay for the second part of the project, bringing treatment to the infected rural population. The Public Health Service planned to cancel the project, but Dr. Tolliver Clark, director of the Venereal Disease Division, wanted to salvage something from the work done so far. He designed a short-term study to observe the natural course of untreated syphilis in Black.
So the Great Depression came. They lost their funding due to the Great Depression. And, wait. Let's not cure the people. Let's not give them a penicillin shot. Let's not do that. Oh, no. Instead, let's study how the disease is going to mutate. Wow. All right, let's keep walking, family, because this is crazy work. What's up, King J. Ames? Don't be starting this morning either. It's early as hell. Peace, Original Skywalker.
Black men.
You couldn't get a group of people with that high incidence of positive serologies in the whites like we had here, and that was so isolated and was so ideally suited for the type of follow-up we wanted. It was just an accident that little hunk of Tuskegee was available, but I don't think it was racist.
At the time, it was thought that blacks reacted to the disease differently than whites. Clark and his colleagues believed that over 6 months or a year, the study would help them develop a more effective cure. The place chosen.
See, this was just another way to mess with our people, bro. They diabolical as hell. Oh, no, I don't think it was racist. Are you kidding me? Why you up there being disingenuous as all can be? Hold up, let's go back. Oh no, I don't think it was racist. Just like people who know they did something wrong and won't admit it. You know what I'm saying? That's just the rhetoric of somebody like that. Will rather go with their bullshit and go with their lies instead of admitting, you know what, hey, we made a mistake. This shouldn't have happened. And we was wrong. You know, it's weird.
Little hunk of Tuskegee was available, but I don't think it was racist.
At the time, it was thought that blacks reacted to the disease differently than whites. Clark and his colleagues believed that over 6 months or a year, the study would help them develop a more effective cure. The place chosen for the experiment was the rural area around the town of Tuskegee in Macon County, Alabama. The area had one of the highest rates of syphilis in the country. This also reinforced the opinion of many doctors that syphilis was a black disease. Its prevalence in the black community was often held up as proof of physical and moral inferiority.
White doctors in the 1920s were on a crusade. They felt that syphilis was rampant in the black community.
So if they were deeming this as a, quote, black disease, Mossy Clan's article in that case would actually defend us in the sense of not saying that we all had syphilis, but in the sense that if that did originate in America, and they're saying now that this was a, quote, black disease, who are the original inhabitants of America? These, quote, people that they are now calling black. So people got to be careful when they put information out here and they say certain shit, trying to discredit us. So I just find that interesting to hear this.
Their estimates would run as high as 95% of all blacks are syphilitic. They saw in syphilis in the black community a threat to the white community because they feared that maids would come in and infect people or that barbers would infect them. So they made syphilis a kind of holy war of theirs in the 1920s.
Do you have any idea why it is more prevalent among the black community?
Yeah, they're not as cautious about it, and when you get a bunch of people who don't have much else, they do an awful lot of fornicating, and this is one of their things. And they don't have the knowledge and the information that some of the white people have about protection and whatnot. They didn't then, and even now they don't have it as well as some white people do.
Bad Blood will return in a moment here on A&E. The doctors in charge of the Tuskegee Syphilis study wanted to see the effects of unchecked syphilis in their human guinea pigs, so it was essential that the subjects not know that they were infected. In autumn 1932, leaflets were circulated among the black population in Macon County, inviting people to come for free treatment. In fact, they were given none. Instead, blood tests were taken, and 400 black men with syphilis were recruited to the study.
You see the witchery in this? The trickery? Let's go back. So y'all rounded up the people. So which one is it? Y'all rounded them up and y'all took them to whatever y'all did and y'all drew their blood and then you found syphilis. Hold up. Let's go back because let me just make sure I heard that correctly.
The doctors in charge of the Tuskegee Syphilis study wanted to see the effects of unchecked syphilis in their human guinea pigs, so it was essential that the subjects not know that they were infected.
So it was essential that they know that they didn't know that they were infected. So y'all just went around, took their blood, and then y'all found out they was infected, and y'all said, oh, we're not going to tell them they're infected? No, you had to already have knowledge of this.
In autumn 1932, leaflets were circulated among the black population in Macon County, inviting people to come.
Inviting people to come. So that day that they invited those people to come, something happened.
For free treatment.
For free treatment? Yeah, okay.
In fact, they were given none. Instead, blood tests were taken, and 400 black men with syphilis were recruited to the study. A local nurse, Eunice Rivers, was hired to bring the men in for their periodic examinations.
We knew, and all the doctors knew in this area, that these people were not supposed to have gotten any treatment. Now, the doctors would have maybe a patient was complaining of something else. They always had a little package in their car, in their bags, that they would give this patient, you know.
Well, now they always gave out that pink medicine, didn't they?
Yeah, they just loved that pink medicine.
Pink medicine was pink aspirin.
Yes.
Just help with everyday pain.
Everyday pain. See, right. This is true.
She was very nice and friendly. We had a lot of fun. But she was very nice.
Did you trust her?
Trust her? Yeah, I had a lot of confidence in her. Sure did.
Well, they couldn't buy.
Sap, you took the words right out of my mouth. Like, literally. Let's go back and listen to her again, because they literally always do this. And this is why our trust is broken with each other now. This is why.
Package in their car.
Subjects not know that they were infected. In autumn 1932, leaflets were circulated among the black population in Macon County, inviting people to come for free treatment. In fact, they were given none. Instead, blood tests were taken, and 400 black men with syphilis were recruited to the study. A local nurse, Eunice Rivers, was hired to bring the men in for their periodic examinations.
We knew, and all the doctors knew in this area, that these people were not supposed to have gotten any treatment. Now, the doctors would have maybe a patient was complaining of something else. They always had a little package in their car, in their bags, that they would give this patient, you know.
Well, now they always gave out that pink medicine, didn't they?
Yeah, they just loved that pink medicine.
Pink medicine was pink aspirin.
Yes.
Just help with everyday pain.
Everyday pain. See, right. This is true.
She was very nice and friendly. We had a lot of fun. But she was very nice.
Did you trust her?
Trust her? Yeah, I had a lot of confidence in her. Sure did.
Well, they couldn't buy medicine. They couldn't get a doctor. And you get free medicine. And that's what we signed up to get, free medicine. Medicine wouldn't cost anything. And they gave everybody a thing about it. I look like me, I should have woke up before I did. And think about, everybody didn't have the same complaint, but everybody got the same medicine, same liquid, and the same pill, and the same capsules.
Instead of treatment for syphilis, the men were given aspirins and tonics. They were told this would cure them. Anderson Sinclair is one of the few living survivors of the experiment. He is 87 years old. In 1932, he and the other men recruited for the study were in the latent stages of syphilis, a non-infectious period when there are no visible symptoms. The sons and grandsons of slaves, and barely educated, the men were unaware that over a period of years, the disease attacks and destroys the internal organs of the body, particularly the heart, the brain, and the spinal cord. Without treatment, the majority would develop terrible late complications, and many would eventually die of the disease.
they were pitiful. And I recall one man, I've forgotten what his name is now, but that had all of his chest, one side eroded. That's what the doctors told me it was. And that he had these attacks quite often, and I'd go running, bring him in. They had told me at one of the studies, don't let him die at home. Bring him in so we can open him up and see. And he lived about 2 years with this thing.
Nobody knew what we were being treated for. I was with it from start to finish. And lived through it, thank God. And I never miss an appointment, never miss a date. I really don't know what made them do it. But I just assumed they did it because they were in authority and they had that power to do what they did.
Carter Howard was 26 and a sharecropper when he joined the study.
We were glad to get her anytime we thought would help us. I know I did. We thought we'd get something free. While we joined the band.
They did not understand what syphilis was. And a lot of diseases were categorized in a term called bad blood. In other words, anemia, malaria, hepatitis, all these infectious diseases were categorized one together and called bad blood. And they knew they had bad blood. But they were told that they would receive some treatment, but they did not understand it.
Did you see them every year?
Mm-hmm. Good, they come every year. Yeah, every year.
I don't know. Why they come? They don't tell you nothing.
And you can't tell me these elders ain't Aborigines of America, bro. You can't tell me for 1 second. You can't tell me nothing that these ain't Indians right here that we looking at. Anywho, yo, this was really messed up, family. And like he said, something key is that, they were willing to do anything that they thought would be helpful. And then, of course, they would send in one of our own. So that makes the process a little easier in terms of being able to gain trust so that they could do the things that they did that was obviously unethical and illegal against the people of this land, trying to harm us, allegedly. This is YouTube, family.
Just tell you, we're going to roll your sleeve up. Gonna get some blood.
From the beginning of the study, the subjects were deceived, and this is where the moral and ethical problems arose, because the subjects were not told that they were part of an experiment.
Well, informed consent was not the vogue in those days. They were told, I am told that they were told what the study was all about. They were promised certain things, but
he's being disingenuous as fuck.
Informed consent was just not the custom at the time.
Investigative reports will return in a moment here on A&E. In 1933, a year after the inception of the Tuskegee Syphilis study, the program's director made a fateful decision. Raymond Vonderlehr was the newly appointed director of the Venereal Disease Division of the Public Health Service. He decided to extend the study to the death of the participants.
Once the doctors started examining the men, they discovered pathology that fascinated them. Raymond Vonderlehr, Tolliver Clark, and others
wrote letters in which they talked about perfect gold mines of cardiovascular syphilis. Once they became mesmerized by this pathology, they did not want to end the experiment, and consequently, they looked for ways to keep the experiment going.
The patients, still unaware that they carried syphilis, were now to be kept under observation for life. The role of Nurse Rivers, the main contact, became critical. For 40 years, she became a friend to the men and their families.
The women got mad because they couldn't go. They were sick too. Now, whatever good it came out of it, I don't know whether it really felt good, but they enjoyed having somebody to come all the way from Washington or Atlanta down here and spend 2 weeks riding up and down the streets, looking at them, listening to the heart and telling them about the heart, their blood pressure and this kind of thing. They just enjoyed it. That was as much help to them as a dose of medicine, and they enjoyed that.
What? Enough time. Yes, sir. All of us.
Hey, Nurse Rivers.
Oh, Nurse Rivers.
Bro.
Oh.
Hey, Nurse Rivers is a diabolical. She, what? You should have been helping them. What you there for, nurse? You know, and it's a lot of our people who will be willing to compromise their morals and integrity for shit like this when they put in these kinds of situations. And then instead of being honest, well, maybe she is, but she laughing about it. I'm not sure, you know, because to me, this is something serious.
What's called a nurse room. And anytime you met her with a smile. And so it's one of those things. Then those people that died, those patients that died, they started, it was a fella, first I remember dying, right up his creek here, named Mark Yarber, died up there. Then they started, Ludy Payne, I can name any number of them. You know, when they started dying, they just died right on out. Andrew Swint, Buster Swint, oh, any number of them. And then my daddy-in-law was in it. And I'm trying to think the year he died. But they gave the family $35 on his burial. That's the first time knowing anything about $35.
The families were offered a small cash payment for a burial in exchange for permission to conduct an autopsy. The doctors wanted to discover what damage the syphilis had done. Securing autopsies on the men now became a top priority of the study.
They took some of the brain and they took the heart. Those are the two areas that we wanted to know most about.
Were there problems getting people to agree to autopsies, do you think?
Not really, because these people feel very strongly about decent burial. And so what we did...
He said these people feel very strongly about a decent burial. So to get a decent burial, make sure you bury your family member. You was willing to accept that money and let them take their brains and heart to study. Yeah, man. Thank you, Copper Goddess. Email that shit to me, little bitch. I mean, excuse my language. I said I'm trying not to curse. Peace and love to all the family that's making it in. We're 1 hour into the live stream. Thank you all so much. Please like, share, subscribe. I would really, really appreciate that. It's very early, but I'm here and I have a smile on my face. And I'm happy to see all of you all. I really, really, really am. So, hey, Copper Goddess. Hey, sister. What's up, Roger W.? Dang, Ray Sunfire in the house. Yes, shout out to everybody, all the Aboriginal, Indigenous, Indians. Y'all know what's up. Y'all know what I'm on. So let me go ahead and cam back down. But I just wanted to let y'all see me when I say good morning and, you know, peace to all of y'all because I really, really mean that. So, but yeah, y'all. This is super diabolical right here. And, you know, it's no secret that our people are very strong about a burial and a decent one at that, making sure that you got money to bury your family member. You know, that's why we need to make sure we all got life insurance. All of us, all black, so-called black people should have it. They have been taking our heads and body for research. They took the head of Osceola. Okay, there we go. Osceola and other war chiefs. Look at me pronouncing things wrong. Trying to pull it together, y'all. I know I be really working on it, family, like the cursing. Cause like every now and then it will give bitch or, you know, whatever. Sometimes I just do that. Like it's just a part of my personality framework. So I've been trying not to curse. But, you know, bear with me, family. Everything in time. I can articulate myself without cussing. You know, it just is what it is. So anyway, back to this Tuskegee experiment. This fellow right here, this is the most disingenuous doctor I ever seen on the screen.
Damage the syphilis had done. Securing autopsies on the men now became a top priority of the study.
They took some of the brain and they took the heart. Those are the two areas that we wanted to know most about.
Were there problems getting people to agree to autopsies?
Not really, because these people feel very strongly about decent burial. And so what we did by assuring them that they could have a decent burial because we were going to pay the undertakers, and they knew that one of the reasons for getting the autopsy was to pay for this thing.
By the late 1930s and early 40s, large numbers of men on the study were dying. Public Health Service documents show that the death rate of those in the study was now twice that of the non-syphilitic black population of Macon County. The documents indicate that their average life expectancy was already 8 years less.
Nurse Rivers would attend the funerals of the men when they died. She would sit in the amen section with the families. Often she would reach out and take the hand of a widow and hold that hand and comfort the person at that very sad moment. Everyone would cry. Nurse Rivers would cry. And at the end of that ceremony, she would ask the widow or the next of kin for permission to perform an autopsy. And she made that a personal issue. She would ask it as a favor. She said to the widow, I need for you to do something for me, darling. You don't have to do it. But it would help the government doctors. They need to find out what killed your husband. And maybe if we find out what killed him, we can help other people. So would you do it for me, darling? And she'd put it just like that. She'd make it a personal appeal.
The autopsies were performed at the John Andrew Hospital on the campus of Tuskegee Institute, one of the most prestigious black colleges in the South. The hospital is now closed. For the white doctors, Nurse Rivers was a vital link with the black families.
I said, this is just like an operation, except the person is dead. Yes, ma'am. I said, now nobody will know that that body has been open, has been operated on, unless you tell them. I said, because I'm not going to tell them. And this is the way I would get the autopsies. And I'd put it down to Dr. Peters and all the people where I said, now, I'm going to tell you this one thing. If you don't mess up that body, you won't get another one.
The men actually informally called themselves the Nurse Rivers Burial Society because in that community, the black in poverty and so on, the ceremony of death, the dignified burial, was one of the landmarks in the lifetime of an individual. So they knew they had syphilis. They knew they were part of Nurse Rivers, the study, what was going on, and they were pleased. In fact, got the sense of pride in being part of Nurse River's society.
I cannot allow myself to evade the fact that she knew.
Yes, she knew.
What those people were treating us for and didn't tell us.
And then tell them. This is that's the most heartbreaking part of it all. And that's why I touched on that. A lot of our people, for the sake of having a job, for the sake of their livelihood or whatever the case may be, they do this sellout bullshit. And it's for what? It's for what? And it's like, how do we expect to remedy things like this when we got our people in all facets of, or all sectors rather, of government, high, low, whatever, all throughout the United States? And although it may not be a big number, you know what I'm saying? It seems like the small number of our people that play significant roles in events like this has really dictated our future, has really dictated our present, if that makes any sense. Put some fire emojis if y'all understand. We cannot continue to tolerate shit like this. That's why we can't tolerate people like Fat Joe. We can't tolerate the people who was in that environment and who allow him to say those things that he said. Okay? This is the stuff they got to stop. Because it's all a hindrance. They said they studied us to help us, but they used studies to derail us. Absolutely. Come on now. Motherfucking, yeah, a Nurse Rivers, a Slim. Come on now. You know this wasn't right, Nurse Rivers.
The ceremony of death, the dignified burial, was one of the landmarks in the lifetime of an individual. So they knew they had syphilis. They knew they were part of Nurse River, the study, what was going on, and they were pleased. In fact, got the sense of pride in being part of Nurse River's society.
I cannot allow myself to evade the fact that she knew what those people were treating us for and didn't tell us.
You can't believe that she knew.
It's hard for me to try to fathom and understand as to why that she would have kept that from us. If she loved us as much as we loved her,
Oh,
how can I see?
This that bullshit right here, man. That's some zesty stuff. That is zesty work. Zesty as hell. This is why we got trust issues.
What people were treating us for and didn't tell us.
Society.
I cannot allow myself to evade the fact that she knew what those people were treating us for and didn't tell us.
You can't believe that she knew.
It's hard for me to try to fathom and understand as to why that she would have kept that from us. If she loved us as much as we loved her, how can I see?
The study could not have been done without her, period. It wouldn't have been done without her because she was the link that kept it going.
Do you think part of that link was the fact that she was the one who had to mislead people?
Oh, I doubt that she misled anybody.
What?
I really do.
Bro, why are you being disingenuous? This is what I don't get about him. The man just sat here and said it. I mean, what is going on? I mean, the manipulation is real. I mean, the gaslighting is real. Not that human thighs and human. Ooh, child. Race on fire. Don't get me in trouble. Read your comment. Peace and love to everyone, y'all. I just wanted to say peace and love again. I hope y'all enjoying the live stream. We're about 1 hour, 17 minutes in. I'm not gonna hold y'all long, but this one was on my heart. Like I said earlier, when he posted that article, and then I started digging more into the Tuskegee Experiment, and just, wanted to kind of come back out with this. I'm sure people have covered it before, but kind of just wanted to come out and cover this again, and just to highlight all the things that's wrong, and all of the things that we let happen, and just without real discernment. And it's sad.
The study could not have been done without her, period. It wouldn't have been done without her because she was the link that kept it going.
Do you think part of that link was the fact that she was the one who had to mislead people?
Oh, I doubt that she misled anybody.
Oh, I doubt
I really do.
Anybody.
I'm sure that she felt she wanted to help everybody. And I'm sure that she felt that we were not hurting anybody, or she wouldn't have been involved.
Is that your feeling as well?
Yes, it is.
Mm.
I don't think we hurt anybody.
Whoa. That is nasty work. Nasty. In 1990.
The crusade went on. We must break the chain of infection.
It was discovered in the late 30s that large doses of arsenic given continuously over a short period would help cure syphilis. Large-scale treatment programs were set up in the South. In Macon County, Nurse Rivers was attached to the rapid treatment centers to make sure none of the participants in the study inadvertently received treatment.
The Public Health Service had started a massive screening to find people who had syphilis, and an even more massive roundup to try to get them in to hotel rooms for 3 and 5 and 10 days so they could undergo these long-term massive injections of arsenic compounds. And I recall one participant, one person testifying at
Exactly. Like, what is that? Like, I don't even understand that whole rhetoric. What? Yo, he was, I really don't think we were hurting anyone. But when they came in for treatment, you made sure the nurse did not treat these people. And the nurse herself made sure she did not treat people. She laughed about the fact that people were just happy to get their blood pressure checked and their heart heard. That's not even funny. Because bitch, they thought you were because they thought they thought you were helping them, lady. Like, cut the, oh God. I don't, yeah, he was diabolical. I told y'all this doctor, he's sinister.
That kept it going.
Do you think part of that link was the fact that she was the one who had to mislead people?
Oh, I doubt that she misled anybody. I really do. I'm sure that she felt she wanted to help everybody. And I'm sure that she felt that we were not hurting anybody, or she wouldn't have been involved.
Is that your feeling as well?
Yes, it is. I don't think we hurt anybody.
The crusade went on. We must break the chain of infection.
It was discovered in the late 30s that large doses of arsenic given continuously over a short period would help cure syphilis. Large-scale treatment programs were set up in the South. In Macon County, Nurse Rivers was attached to the rapid treatment centers to make sure none of the participants in the study inadvertently received treatment.
Make sure.
The Public Health Service had started a massive screening to find people who had syphilis, and an even more massive roundup to try to get them in to hotel rooms for 3 and 5 and 10 days so they could undergo these long-term massive injections of arsenic compounds. And I recall one participant, one person testifying at the Senate hearings, telling about how he was pulled out of a treatment group, lied to, and sent on the bus back from Montgomery, Alabama, the capital, to Tuskegee to be a part of the study and to not be treated.
They said I had to go, but they were wrong. I didn't know it till I got there. I know till the next morning, over in the night. Well, about day. That nurse ran through the crowd and said, she was small in stature. Says, I've been looking for a man here practically all night. I'm not supposed to be here. Oh, she was for me near that tree, about this near that tree. And she said, his name is Herman Shaw. When she said his name is Herman Shaw, I stood up. I said, my name is Herman Shaw. She said, what? I said, my name is Herman Shaw. She said, come here. What you doing up here? I said, put me on the bus and told me to come up here. See, you ain't got no business. You're supposed to be you in that Macon County clinic. You're not supposed to be here. And she got me up and got me in a taxi, a cab, and put me on the bus and sent me to Towson. I came home.
So they took you out of the treatment line?
Yes, sir. Out of treatment in that building there where they getting treated, taking treatment.
Bad Blood will return in a moment here on A&E.
Natural.
In the 1940s, the discovery that penicillin cured syphilis brought the nationwide epidemic to an end. But the participants in the Tuskegee Syphilis study, who had never been told they had syphilis, were not informed that there was now an effective treatment.
And they keep reiterating that, y'all. They keep reiterating the fact that these folks were not aware of what was taking place. Yeah, this is not right. This is not right at all.
Would penicillin kill the spirochete of syphilis? It looks like good news. News promising enough to risk making medicine's only conclusive test. Volunteers are searched for. Volunteers with syphilis who could be promised nothing. It was good news.
The discovery of penicillin was also a critical turning point for the mission of the experiment. Now the doctors moved to actually safeguard the infection in their patients. Once penicillin became available in large quantities after World War II, the government launched a massive drive to eliminate the disease.
Penicillin changed the whole picture because the main
Hey, OTK, peace and love, family. Everything is good. I'm just doing this live, and then I'm probably just going to hop on off. I just wanted to come through, give my take on this experiment and what happened in light of that post that I saw about syphilis originating in America. And I read that post a little bit, not that post, excuse me, that article that was posted, as well as some back story around the Tuskegee Experiment, so everybody can be caught up and know what's going on. And even when I play it back, of course, they'll understand and know what was going on. And the reason behind me wanting to dig into this is because sometimes people make interesting statements like to try to shame a person, you know, but I really feel like if they're saying that syphilis is this, quote, Black disease, if you will, then, and if it originated in America, then obviously, I mean, it's not hard to put two and two together. You know what I'm saying? But like, we know the backstory behind syphilis and yeah, and who really got it spreading, right? So that's pretty much what this is about. I just thought that was just an interesting thing, an interesting statement to make. That's it. But I hope you're doing good, bro. I'm just going to finish this up because I'm not going to be on much longer.
reason we wanted to do the study in the first place was we didn't expect penicillin, and the treatment we had was probably just as bad or worse than the disease. But in a way, it's unfortunate because when you get a treatment as good as penicillin, you stop thinking about the disease and we stop studying it. And we don't learn anything. We just treat. And that's what happens with these latents. Like people say, what the heck? Why should I worry about it? Give them another shot of penicillin.
Despite the availability of penicillin, the Public Health Service in the late 40s and 50s continued its attempts to prevent participants in the study from receiving treatment. With the backing of the U.S. Surgeon General, they contacted local draft boards and asked them to excuse participants from military service, as all new draftees would be screened and treated for syphilis if found to be infected. The draft boards complied, despite the fact that it was a state law in Alabama that anyone identified as having syphilis must receive treatment. In the early 50s, as mobility increased and some of the participants moved away to the industrial cities of the North, Public Health Service offices across the country were asked to track down participants to ensure that they would be kept within the study. They were asked in particular to make sure full autopsies were carried out on those who died. In an internal memorandum of 1952, a senior Public Health Service surgeon wrote, "All of us who are working with the Tuskegee Project are looking to the pathology results to give us the key answers. If we may sound a little grim, we might say that we are looking forward to a rich harvest of some 200 autopsies in the next 5 to 10 years." In 1952, the government doctors reviewed the study for the first time in light of the discovery of penicillin.
You were involved with this study at about the time that penicillin became available and could have been used, and a decision was made to withhold it. How do you feel about that?
Well, I agree with the decision for this reason. By the time penicillin in the proper form to treat those people under those circumstances was available to everybody, they were latent for at least 25 years. And as one of the old timers said, if a patient has had syphilis for 25 years, you don't treat them, you congratulate them. In other words, any complications of the disease would have shown up by then. And there's no evidence that giving penicillin at that time would have undone any of the complications that were already there.
The controversy about whether penicillin cured latent syphilis went on for several years, but that controversy was certainly resolved in terms of a public health service policy by 1953, when the public health service took an official position that penicillin was an effective treatment, not just for early syphilis, but latent syphilis as well. And he, again, can't defend not treating those people at that time. If that was the official, formal position of the U.S. Public Health Service, then that's what they should have done, but they didn't.
My first encounter with this Tuskegee study was after I came back here and was in practice. I had an old man in the hospital that needed penicillin for some reason. I suspect that he had pneumonia, but I honestly can't remember. But when I ordered intravenous penicillin for him, one of the older nurses, who happened to be black, said, "But Dr. you shouldn't give this man penicillin." And I said, "Why? Is he allergic to penicillin?" Said, "No, sir, but he is one of Nurse Rivers' patients." And I said, "What's that got to do with anything?" Said, "Well, I don't think you should give him penicillin." I said, "Well, why not? Tell me why not, or give him the penicillin." Said, "Well, I think you ought to call the health department." So I called the health department, and it was late in the day. No one was there. So I went ahead and treated the man with penicillin. To continue life at all costs, sometimes you have to do research to advance the vanguard, the mystique, to understand how we keep life going at all cost in the larger sense of the public health. In terms of the individual, yes. Does the individual get lost in that milieu, get lost as a cipher? Does it get lost? We try not to, but in research, sometimes that happens, and we must not let that happen.
What they were doing, I didn't know what it meant at that time. After I look at it now, back there then, it didn't even mean no good, what they were doing. I was gonna get my blood and go on off somewhere with it. I don't know what they done to it.
Does it make you angry now?
No, not yet, not now.
Do you think the doctors were evil men?
Yes, sir. I know they were.
Nope.
What makes you say that?
Because, you see, I lived through it, and there are people who read about it. But those are people who read about it. They read about it. Those of us who went through it, we know about it. And no, it's not a good feeling. Let me fair with you. You can't go around hating. Cannot go around hating people, but it's not a good feeling.
Y'all better than me. What?
Do you hate them?
Well, no. I don't hate them. But
they better than the meat because ain't
I'm like my daddy said. He said he wasn't above any human flesh, but he was against the way some people abuse that flesh. And so I'm trying to think it's kind of complicated.
Opelika, a mostly white town 10 miles down the road from Tuskegee. 1992.
They say Opelika.
I'm like my daddy said. He said he wasn't above any human flesh, but he was against the way some people abuse that flesh. And so I'm trying to think it's kind of complicated.
Opelika, a mostly white town 10 miles down the road from Tuskegee. 1992.
I see everybody in and out. I appreciate y'all.
To me, in the South,
Hey,
at least in this
George.
town, blacks don't have respect. Okay, they don't care what they do. You know, they don't turn blinkers on to turn the corner. They don't care if you're behind them wanting to go straight and they're talking on somebody on a hill. They don't care. You know, they just don't. If they're walking across the road and you're half a block away, they won't speed up to go across the road. They'll just keep on doing. You know, they'll just keep on walking. They just don't have respect.
Hi, Billy Oso. Peace and love. Original Skywalker. Peace and love. OTK. Hey, y'all. Peace to my family. Peace to the cleanup crew. Y'all already know what it do.
Other humans.
The Tuskegee study took place against a background of racial prejudice that survives to this day in Alabama. For the men in the study, racism was an accepted fact of life.
Was it a racist study?
Absolutely not. There was no racist study involved in this.
So they ain't gonna never be honest about racism. And then this, what are y'all trying to deem this as? Something scientific? It's something scientifically valid? Are y'all kidding me? This is this is bullshit. Absolutely insane. Ask every last one of them. This came out in 1990. I don't know how long ago they did them interviews prior to 1990, or you know how they collected this information, but I will say that it's clear as day that you weren't properly treating the people, and in fact you made sure that the people didn't get treated, and somehow this is something that's not racist towards a specific group of people.
But you could legislate that, but it is not true. Okay, it was done in rural Alabama, in Macon County. It was done in blacks. It was done in a society in which 35% of the community had syphilis initially. That's why they placed the study. It was done in blacks because they were non-mobile. And they knew that they would stay in rural Alabama and they could follow them more carefully. In that sense, racist, yes, but in the most benign appropriation of the term.
Oh, please.
America's understanding of racism and equality was radically altered by the civil rights movement of the 1960s. But as we'll see when Bad Blood continues, it would take years for those changes to help the study participants in Macon County, Alabama. Bad Blood will return in a moment here on A&E. The Tuskegee Syphilis study, an experiment in which mostly white doctors permitted and then carefully maintained illness in their black patients, could not have taken place without certain fundamental assumptions about the different rights of racial groups in America. During the 1960s, the civil rights movement upset many of those assumptions by demanding equal treatment before the law, especially in the South. Blacks transformed the social context in which the Tuskegee study had been conceived. In the mid-60s, Peter Buxton was a junior official in the Public Health Service in San Francisco.
I complained as a public citizen, irrespective of being an employee of the Public Health Service. I complained saying that I thought that this was no longer a moral thing to be doing, and that the entire good work of the Public Health Service might easily be called into question by people stumbling across this study and using it for inflammatory purposes instead of looking at the entire picture and trying to get the right result out of it.
My reactions were that an attempt should be made to explain to him why the study had started, what was being done, what the character of the people involved were, and I think this is what was done. At that time, I've not met Mr. Buxton, so I don't know, but I think that it was we made an effort to try and present the facts to him.
There was a dead silence from the Communicable Disease Center in Atlanta, and after a month and a half or thereabouts, a bureaucrat came on leave, ordinary leave, and came to interview me and see what this odd person in San Francisco was trying to accomplish. Was I a lunatic, or had I found something that they didn't understand?
No one was complacent about the study. We were very much concerned about it. One of the scientific points was, if you're going to start a study, complete it, don't abort it.
Also, too, I think that they don't know how to end it. If they end it, they would have to offer some explanation to the men, because the men had been told always that the experiment would keep going, that they would continue to treat them. And I think part of not ending it is that there's no good explanations they can come up with for ending it.
These were people who had been in the study then for 35, 36 years, and we felt we had an obligation to at least continue what benefits had been offered to them.
Against a background of criticism from within the Public Health Service, the doctors met in Atlanta in 1969 to decide whether the experiment should continue. They discussed the possibility of treating the survivors, but after due consideration, they decided that the experiment should go on.
Well, I don't think that I personally was committing an atrocity. I think I was doing what, given the information that we had at the present time, was a scientifically sound judgment. I think politically it was probably a mistake.
Thoughtlessness. Many of these physician investigators were trained in the importance of advancing the frontiers of knowledge. And that became their primary goal. And in that quest, they forgot that they were subjecting human beings to considerable harm. They just hadn't faced up to it.
Yes. They paid us. Trying to figure the And all the living participants got the same thing. $32,550.20.
The Tuskegee study was finally ended in 1972, following exposure in the press. Lawyers acting for the men filed a suit for damages against the U.S. government. The government settled out of court for $10 million to be divided among the survivors and relatives of those who had died. And the survivors were given free medical care for life.
How are you doing today, Mr. Sinclair?
Yeah.
All right. Have you had any problems since your last visit?
Yeah, I think I'm kind of with what is it?
Gouge.
Gout.
Where is that? In the knee, the foot, the ankle?
Right back here.
morning. I think we're going to need to do a blood test for that today and see about the gout. Okay. And I think that it was a mistake, and I think that the federal government has a guilty conscience about it, and I think that rightly so. I treated a number of these patients and still have a few who were in the study. And the federal government has such a guilty conscience that they will buy them a 10-speed bicycle if I say it's medically necessary.
I got $32,500. I got enough finish paying for my house.
Do you know why they gave you the money?
I never really understood. Never did really understand what they were doing. But it was all right. They could do that again. I wouldn't thought I would.
Yeah, they can do it again. You wouldn't fall out with it?
I wouldn't fall out with it. Appreciate me cooperating with them. I think for 25 years, that's all I can get out of it. They appreciate me cooperating with them for 25 years. That's what you said.
All right, y'all. I'm kind of glad that it's over. We got through that rough patch because, whew. Okay. So anyway, I think I'm gonna go ahead and just close out because I see a couple others have gone live, but I just pretty much wanted to go over that. I know, real quick, I guess before I go, because Carpa Goddess had said something in the chat about the Tuskegee Airmen, and yes, they were a part of it too, but I think they had like a different part with the military being more so a part of that situation. The Tuskegee Airmen. 2 famous Tuskegee experiments were conducted in the small town of Tuskegee, Alabama between 1932 and 1972. One conducted by the U.S. Public Health Service beginning in 1932, later called the Tuskegee Syphilis Experiment, the one we just spoke about. The other conducted by the U.S. Army Air Corps beginning in 1941, the participants of which later dubbed Tuskegee Airmen. The purpose of the experiment conducted by public health was to observe the progression of a number of diseases, particularly syphilis, untreated in Black males. The official name of the study was the Tuskegee Study of Untreated Syphilis in the Negro Male. The study involved 660 men who agreed to participate in exchange for meals. Oh, I had to make sure it was on the screen. For meals, transportation, health care, and burial payments to their widows. At the beginning of the study, no effective treatment was available for syphilis patients. By 1947, penicillin was readily available, but this treatment option was not made available to the unknowing participants. The travesty was that although treatment was then available, public health withheld this information from them and continued the program in the same vein. The study ended abruptly and inconclusively in 1972 when the Associated Press broke the news of the unethical experiment in New York and Washington, D.C. In 1972, a class action lawsuit was filed against the public health on behalf of the men, their wives, children, and family members, which ended in a $9 million settlement for the victims. Of course, which we all just went over and talked about. In 1941, the Air Corps began a military experiment to see if Negroes could be trained as combat pilots and support personnel. This experiment served to test out the findings of a 1925 War Department study that asserted that the Negro is fundamentally inferior to whites. The study further claimed that Negroes lacked the intelligence, courage, and physical ability to operate complicated military equipment such as combat aircraft. BS. The first to be trained as participants in this experiment were the mechanics who began their training in March 1941 at Chanute Field at Rantoul, Illinois. On July 19, 1941, 12 aviation cadets and one student officer, Captain Benjamin O. Davis Jr., reported to Tuskegee Institute, Tuskegee University, to begin primary flight training as the first Negro pilot candidates in the United States Army. By November, 4 candidates and the student officer had demonstrated the necessary skills, completed the rigors of training, and were transferred to Tuskegee Army Field for basic training and advanced training courses. On March 7, 1942, the first class of cadets graduated from Tuskegee Army Airfield to become the nation's first Black American military pilots. Benjamin O. Davis Jr. retained his rank as captain, and 4 others graduated with the rank of second lieutenant. The significance of this event should not be minimized after years of struggle by Black Americans for opportunities to serve in subservient roles in the U.S. military. As the pilot training program expanded, it would eventually include participants from 29 states, foreign countries, 7 historically Black colleges, and the Coffee School of Aeronautics. The majority of those accepted into the program had completed the civilian pilot training program, and authorized by the United States Congress in 1938, administered through the Civil Aeronautics Administration. After the bombing of Pearl Harbor, Hawaii in December 1941, the United States entered World War II. At that time, no plans were made or thought given to using the Negro pilots in combat. At the insistence of the First Lady, Eleanor Roosevelt, the War Department gave them an assignment in North Africa, where they would have no contact with soldiers of the Axis powers. Because they had no contact with the enemy, the War Department concluded that they were ineffective and decided to return the Negro units to America. After testimony before Congress by Benjamin O. Davis Jr., they were given an opportunity to provide escort cover for white bomber crews to and from their targets. They performed exceedingly well, to a point that they began to be requested as bomber escorts by white bomber pilots. Of the more than 400 pilots who saw combat, 66 of their number died during combat and 33 were taken as prisoners of war. Other Tuskegee trained pilots fought another war, not in foreign land, but on U.S. soil. They were a part of the 477th Bombardment Group, who in 1945 successfully staged a nonviolent sit-in to integrate the white-only officers club at Freeman Field, Indiana. In the process, they overturned an illegal base order designed to keep the status quo of segregation, although military regulations prohibited this practice. Through it all, they proudly served their country, both on American and foreign soil, not as Negroes, but as American citizens. Some of the challenges they faced included the program being located in the racially segregated South, the prevalence of Jim Crow laws designed to keep them in their place, the intense opposition from the majority white citizens of the city of Tuskegee, threats of arrest for venturing to walk down the city streets of Tuskegee, racially biased Air Corps personnel who reflected the same racial attitudes as the local white community, the ease of which a cadet could be washed out of the program by a supposed infraction, whether real or imaginary, the pressure to perform well, oftentimes with used or dilapidated aircraft, the concern of whether the Air Corps was committed to providing training equal to those of their white counterparts, whether their credentials would be recognized throughout the military community, and whether America will recognize their sacrifices and performance and embrace them as full citizens entitled to equal and civil rights under the Constitution. On June 8, 1946, the last class of aviation cadets graduated from Tuskegee Army Airfield. Look at me. At the time they completed their requirements, 2,483 persons had entered the Tuskegee pilot training program, of which 994 completed the rigors and earned their pilot wings. Altogether, the participants in the Tuskegee military experiment, later called Tuskegee Airmen, numbered between 15,000 to 19,000, including pilots, mechanics, cooks, doctors, nurses, parachute riggers, gate guards, flight instructors, firemen, radio operators, etc. Their unit formations consisted of the 99th, 100th, 301st, 301st, and 302nd Fighter Squadrons, the combined 332nd Fighter Group, and 477th Bombardment Group, y'all, along with their service units. So yeah, so shout out to all of them. Yeah, I don't know why they saying that. You know how whitewash history go. The best at it. Yep.
Say I'm hustling and I'm grinding. I'm making moves with my money on my mind, and I can't fall short. Always keep it down, slow mo. Say I'm hustling and I'm grinding. I'm making moves with my money on my mind, and I can't fall short. Always keep it down, slow mo.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they would say Tuskegee. I mean, maybe at that time, maybe in the 1920s and 30s, maybe there was a huge white population. I got to go look it up and see at that time what was the population of whites to blacks in that city at the time. Because, I mean, we were the majority everywhere, whether they want to recognize it or highlight it or document it or not. So we all know what time it is when it comes to that. So yeah, shout out to everybody. I like I said, I think BAP going live. So he's still on Fat Joe Neck, of course. You know, I kind of wanted to be on a more educational side, but you know, I didn't want to stay too long. So yeah, I'm just glad you guys were able to make it through today. And I hope you all like, share, and subscribe. And I'll try to get more consistent with going live. I know it was early. I mean, it was like 7 something. So, yeah. Just shout out to Sap, always keeping it coming. Yo, hit me up, Sap. Like, you need to come on and do a build. George Richard, Vino. Hey, Vino. Thank you. Yeah, shout out to you, Vino. Shout out to you, bro. Yeah, I thought about going ahead and streaming BAP live. Let me see what it's giving real quick. Because, yeah. It's about that time for me anyway. All right, y'all, listen. I had a great time. Y'all get on Replay Gang. And maybe I'll have some more stuff. I got some things in this pocket coming real soon. So y'all look out for that. And y'all stay blessed. Take care.